Well, I have 11:02 and we will get started. I'd like to call this meeting of the Citizens Advisory Board to order by asking the clerk to call the roll. Here.
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 I would like to announce that there is a quorum present and that the notice of this meeting was properly posted on May the 7th, 2024. This time I would like to invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our next item of business is citizen participation, and we have received a request from Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington, you are recognized for 3 minutes. Glad to see you this morning.
Thank you. I had everybody good. Now I was just trying to come out and see exactly. I haven't really been amongst this illustrious, well-esteemed panel, and I'm trying to figure. I know this is different from the Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Advisory Committee. I know that's a distinction, but with y'all, I'm trying to figure exactly what this is basically all about here. With respect to maybe jail procedures or bond issues with kids, grown-ups. Is that part of the team? Is this what this is all about here as well? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. I've never been up here. I think maybe one time I did, but I'm not coming up here to change anything. Then I'm just trying to figure what's going on because I've been kind of getting a little rambunctious on some court officials and things of that nature, which I don't mind doing. We know that, but not y'all. Like I said, y'all haven't done anything. I'm just trying to figure where you would come in as far as making requests concerned. So that's where Can you kind of give me enlighten me on that just a little bit? I mean, what is this exactly, Chris? Matter of fact, I yield the rest of my time to you. That's really all I want. I'm gone.
No, listen, we're glad you're here, and we want you to know, and we want you to participate,
Yeah.
and I mean that, we mean that
That's good.
sincerely, authentically. So we are the Citizens Advisory Board, and part of what we get to do, in essence, is be an advisory group to the jail trust and the
Okay, yes.
administration.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We have 4 basic areas that we're looking to help provide direction and guidance to. One would be the recruitment and retainment of staff.
Yeah, but that's an issue.
One would be community relations and relationships and effective communication with the community. One would be policies and procedures.
Okay.
And the other would be general operations.
Yes,
You
know that he was
right.
trying to hold that back on.
That's operations. That's exactly right.
Okay, now that's pretty much explains it because actually right now we're dealing with. I don't want to go beyond the 3 minutes. They talking about building this jail out there at Dale City in approximate of about 1,800 people. I mean, it's already hard with staff as it is now. How do we advise against that particular thing? It's just you got 1,800, and you're already short of staff. Then you want to put more people in a larger jail. I mean, the retention, not on your part, but the jail itself, seems like to me it's kind of backwards to be wanting something that large to come into fruition. I mean, wow. Excessive deaths, not having adequate access to medical outdoor recreations and things, but you want that many people to be confined in such a small area. I mean, how,
It's a great question, and ultimately the decision and the size of the jail and the location of that facility is beyond.
Yeah, but no, I know that. But are y'all in support of that? This is what I'm trying to get at. Do y'all pass that message on to them? Hey, this is a good idea, or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at.
We would be happy to be a liaison and pass any messages on. We have not taken official position.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, man. Thank y'all so much. My time is up. I yield my time.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. I'm gone. I got to go.
Hey, listen, great to see you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. please. Karen, can you pass this down? Okay, the next agenda item is approval of minutes from our previous meeting. April the 10th. There is a motion and a second. And Sharon, help me. I know we're going to vote electronically, but do we also do a voice vote? Would you please call the roll? Yes?
Yes.
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 Agenda item number 2 is discussion and possible action regarding a report on the general operations and stats pertaining to the Oklahoma County Detention Center by Director Gardner and/or her designee. And I do not see anyone present for that report. Didn't receive word that there wouldn't be a report, but I bet you there was some miscommunication somewhere along the way. No, it's a standing agenda item. But seeing no one here, if they come in, we may come back to that, but we'll move on. Agenda item number 3 is discussion and possible action regarding a report from the focus groups inside the Oklahoma County Detention Center. That should be April the 24th is when our last focus group actually occurred, and this is the agenda item from the previous meeting, so that's why that date is in error. But if I may very quickly just give the report, we like to keep these things in front of us as we track the progress and what the people inside the detention center are saying. And there are some things that I think would be noteworthy in this most recent report. But I would just start off by saying that the women, start off with the women's group. The women that we had the opportunity to have a focus group with stated that the breakfasts inside the Oklahoma County Detention Center are lacking and suggested that an apple or a piece of fruit be included in the breakfast option just as a way to make it a little bit more nutritious. They stated the lunches and the dinners are getting better, and they stated that they're getting better because of the increased variety and the addition of more vegetables on a regular basis. The women reported receiving time out of their cells 3 hours a day on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and emphasized that that is a consistent routine now, something that they identified as a positive. They were very thankful for the available programs that exist inside the detention center, but mentioned that they would like to see more variety, specifically in the area of exercise class, at least once or twice a week. The women reported or stated that the opportunity to communicate with their families via video conferencing was valuable and greatly appreciated. They stated that they would like access to a mirror and that there is a need for more mirrors in their living area. Not heard that before, but they said they would like to see how to comb their hair from time to time. The women conveyed that the bed bug situation is improving and actually stated that they had not noticed any bed bugs recently. That's the first time we've received that kind of feedback, so I think that might be positive. And just an editorial note to the Citizens Advisory Board. The Oklahoma County Detention Center has taken a different approach to the bed bug situation. Instead of contracting with an exterminator to come every other month or whatever it used to be, they have the products on hand and they're spraying routinely, like they're addressing the issue in real time when it's being reported. So they've got staff trained on how to use the chemicals. It's a safer chemical that can be used more frequently, and it appears to be working. And we've kind of not had this strong or positive a statement in relation to the bed bug situation, but we have been tracking some progress as being reported by those who reside in the Oklahoma County Detention Center. The women stated a need for more information about their individual court cases and court proceedings. They said it can be very challenging to communicate with their attorneys. They explained that requests about anything that is needed are often submitted through the kiosk, but that communication or the communication through that method can also be challenging. And then finally, they cited positive interactions with the staff inside the Oklahoma County Detention Center are definitely the bright spot and have become a source of encouragement for them. Those are the words that they use, which I also thought was pretty positive. The men stated that the breakfasts are bad, that they're lacking in variety and nutrition. They stated that the meat that is served with breakfast, if meat is served, is low quality. The items available in commissary are too expensive, and the options available are pretty limited as it pertains to commissary. They said there is a desire for more variety and more affordable price points. They also stated that interaction with the staff is improving and that the communication with the staff is good. The men emphasized better communication with the staff is building morale. That was their word. The men reported that they are consistently allowed out of their cells 3 hours a day on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I would note that the reason Wednesday they're not allowed out is because that's commissary day when the commissary is delivered in the pod, and it takes time to process through that. And they noted that the additional time, the routine time, the consistent schedule of being out of their cells has added to their mental, physical, and relational health. They stated an increase in programmatic opportunities and said that the quality and frequency of available programs appear to be moving in the right direction. The men said that they would like to have access to additional support groups. They stated that they would appreciate some flexibility with the dress code and cited a desire to be able to wear their t-shirts, their white t-shirts, while on their pod and out of their cell. They said when they do their individual exercises, it's a little easier to exercise in the t-shirt than the canvas orange thing that they have to wear. They cited a need for improvement in the quality of video and technology on the kiosk, especially as it pertains to the video conferencing with their loved ones. They said that interaction and that ability to have that interaction is really good, but the quality is not great. And one of the guys said that he was so excited that he was going to be able to see his children, and then they were kind of blurry and fuzzy on the screen. And he said it wasn't meaning to be, he was very respectful. He said he wasn't meaning to be overly critical, but just if we're looking for things that could be improved, that's what he would recommend. And then finally, they reiterated that the time out of their cell 4 days a week and the positive interaction with staff were the bright spots inside the Oklahoma County Detention Center. I would say to our Citizens Advisory Board and to the community at large, we do our best to conduct these focus groups every month, once a month, and we've recently started having some jail trust members join us in these focus groups. And we're tracking the progress. We're looking for themes as a way to bring forward some official recommendations, but also as a means of accountability. This is just one of the various ways that we can measure and monitor progress. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that in, I don't know, maybe 18 months of doing these focus groups, this was the most positive report we've received, hands down. And I pushed them a little bit. I said, "Are you sure? You know what's?" And the other thing I want to say, and this is true for all of us. So this is not a generalization about individuals inside the detention center, but rather a generalization about people. But it can be pretty easy to kind of fall into a mob mentality when when negativity sometimes breeds negativity. That didn't happen. That didn't happen this last time. It was no, I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to tell you what's working right and well and what we're thankful for. And anyway, I'm excited to share that report with all of you. I would also say that next up on our rotation list, Miss June, only because there was a conflict the last time we had tried to schedule, but I think Ryan and June may be the next two up, at least if you are available. There's no pressure to do this, but we're trying to do these the last week of each month on either a Wednesday or Thursday of each month, the last Wednesday or Thursday of each month. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but while we have this as a discussion item, and I think it's in line with this agenda, place on the agenda, I would just ask, and we can communicate later, but if you would check your calendars and see if the last Wednesday or Thursday at 1:30 or 2 o'clock might work for either or both of you. If not, we'll go down to the next person on the list. And
As long as I have enough time in advance, it's kind of difficult for me to do the same
spare of the
day.
moment,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't do that. But
I hear that.
knowing that it's because I think that was the question I asked you. Do we ever know in advance? But knowing that Wednesday and Thursday are the last Wednesday and Thursday of the month, that's not a problem. What about you, Ryan?
It's gonna. I mean, my busiest time is during legislative session. Those are the last 2 days right before sine die. So it just depends on what comes up after they get the budget. There's almost always something that this.
I've heard
Once they
it,
get the
yeah.
budget, there's one more thing to hit the fan, and depending on what that issue is, will depend on whether I'm available or not.
So what do you do as far as the process of arranging this? Because I'm looking at the 29th and the 30th
Mhm.
being the last Wednesday and Thursday. I have nothing at this point in time. And so what, I just need to know the process.
The process is this, and I thank you for this conversation, because I also want to reiterate, part of what we're trying to do is plan ahead so that all of us, we can be fair to all of our schedules. And it requires staff time to be able to help us with these study groups. And so when we're planning and saying, okay, we want these to be either the last Wednesday or the last Thursday. This is what the staff at the detention center has offered to us. If we could make it either the last Wednesday or the last Thursday, we have a little bit of choice in that, depending on our availability for that month. Then it helps them to be able to prepare. So what the goal is from here on out, just in the next rotation, I probably will just text whomever's on that month and say, can you either participate in a Wednesday or Thursday? And for the two that would be, or the three of us that would be up for that month, we'll go from there, and then I'll report back to them which days it's actually going to be.
And you say the normal time is what?
1:30 or 2 o'clock. They say we can either start at 1:30 or 2. They don't. It's really difficult because of the lunch schedule to start before 1:30, and for staff changes or shift changes to start after 2 o'clock. You guys have all been through this multiple times. It takes about an hour, give or take, hour and 15. So, and I'll follow up with both of you, but just wanted to be able to set the expectation and with everybody.
Well, I'm gonna put it on my schedule.
Okay.
And all I need you to tell me is, what do I need to do? Do I need to make the contact? Whatever I need to do, I need to do.
Just
I have more flexibility now.
love it. I love it. Perfect. Thank you all. Any other discussion regarding?
I have a question. All these things, certainly, most of them look like they're issues that, at least in theory, could be addressed by the jail and the staff. But with respect to needing more information about individual cases and communicating with their attorneys, did they indicate whether that was an issue with jail procedures, or is it possible that that's an issue with their actual attorneys?
It's a great question. It's a great question. I probed a little bit, and I don't think I know the answer to that, because they said they when they said that they don't have access to their attorneys or the information, they maybe expressed that there wasn't a clear way to communicate with their attorney. I did ask for a couple of attorneys who I know. I asked a couple of people who I know who have clients in the detention center, and they expressed that it can be tricky if you set up a meeting with your client. You've got to logistically that can be tricky. They said they didn't say it's impossible or difficult. So I think Ryan, to be fair, we need more information. But I think it could be both. I think it could be a matter of when an attorney needs to meet with a client, having proper space and security to be able to do that in a timely fashion. And then I'm sure just with any business that there are people that are more responsive and people who are less responsive.
And we've heard that actually a couple of times. Yeah.
Great question. Thank you. Additional question?
Oh, I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
going to ask a follow-up question. It seems as though in prior focus groups, an emerging trend has been brought up that is not reflected in this one, and that being around kind of like a welcome book or manual or guide or something to that effect for those that are new to the detention center. Was that brought up at all this time? Is that a continued issue? I know that there has been some work within the jail to address that. So I just wondered if maybe that is not an issue any longer, or did it just not come up in conversation?
It did come up, but there wasn't a definite response. So we're trying to ask. I'm trying to make sure that we're asking the same questions for so that we can measure and have a track record. When this was brought up, they said that there is information, there is orientation processes, information about how to access services is what they said on the kiosk. It's available on the kiosk. So anytime they're out of the cell, they can go and read that. They did say that there are individuals who are technologically challenged, and then other individuals who have difficulty reading.
Yeah.
So they said, the information is there, and I don't know if I just got like this group that was just nothing but positive. They said in those cases they do their best to try to help each other, but they said the fact that the information is available, if it's me and Pastor Douglas and I'm having trouble reading and I ask a question that he may not know the answer to, he at least can go and look on the kiosk and get that information. And so they said the information is there, and that's kind of how they left it, just that the information is available.
Am I right that the kiosks don't have like internet access or anything like that? Or is
That's my understanding. It's like a closed.
it would be interesting to see if there'd be a way to get at least access to the Oklahoma State Court Network so you could engage in a little bit of self-help and maybe even just see, look at the docket and see if there is a scheduled court date coming up or something like that.
Yeah, that would be great.
I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, I think that would help.
They may be able to even have a video. We've talked about having an orientation where they say, "Hey, here's where this is, and here's how you do that, and here's how you order this," and maybe just having a video and putting it on the kiosk or on the tablet where they just can say, "Hey, watch. There's a 10-minute video. You need to sit down and watch it." And then they could watch it as many times as needed, and then you don't have to worry about if there's a literacy issue or something like that.
Thinking big. I like it. Thank you so much, both of you, for the recommendation. Additional questions, comments on agenda item number 3? Seeing none, we will move to agenda item number 4, which is discussion and possible action regarding a monthly report. Oh, I'm sorry. That's from Oklahoma. Guess we put that on there twice. I'm sorry.
It's really important.
No, we'll give them another chance. Agenda item number 5 is discussion and possible action regarding regular work session with members of the Oklahoma County Advisory Board and Brandy Gardner. So I think most of us have participated in this. What the director has done, which I think is so positive and really beneficial, is on the last Thursday of each month at 10 a.m., not to violate a quorum, but a representation of the CAB has been given the opportunity to go in and visit with her just about any issues that we're hearing in the community, any questions that we, anything that we have a question about, and just have that conversation. Usually it lasts about an hour or so, hour and 15 minutes. And I think it's been really, really positive. I will tell you that the last meeting that took place, which I think was on April the 25th, right after this focus group, that's how I remember that. Director Gardner did express that there was, she was participating in additional training herself, at a director level, and would be traveling in the month of May, which I believe she's been doing. And then in addition to that, additional incentives. They've incorporated a financial incentive plan for employees. So there's a signing bonus. I don't know the amounts, but there's a signing bonus. And then there are various longevity bonuses. So I think once you stay on the job for 6 months, there's another bonus, and maybe one at the end of the year. When we met, she literally had like business-sized business cards with a QR code on it that explained the benefits, and they were using that as a recruitment tool to say, "Hey, come sign up for training and employment opportunities." And she seemed to be very, very excited. She did say that staffing issues continue to be a concern, but she was pretty optimistic about the new incentives, the financial incentives that they're incorporating into the employment model. So those were the two big takeaways: additional training and financial incentives to report back. Okay, agenda item number 6 is discussion and possible action regarding our regularly scheduled focus groups with members of the Citizens Advisory Board. I think that's a redundant as well. So let me, are we allowed to do general comments? Okay, we'll open this up for board comments.
I have a comment. It seems that after all of these months and meetings and our focus groups and speaking with Director Gardner, it all keeps coming to staffing. We've just got to get that under control. How do we get people and retain them? I think that's fantastic, having the incentives, and I really hope that helps. But that really seems to be the priority. It needs to be anyway.
Thank you, Leslie. Additional comments? I would, I have two at this point. So sort of an ongoing conversation, that issue that tends to get lost unless we keep it at the forefront, is the need to fill out our Citizens Advisory Board with additional appointments. So just as a reminder and a comment about that, the conversation is that when this particular Citizens Advisory Board was created, they left it open, so open that it's nobody's quite sure what our terms are and how the appointment process should work in the situation.
I was told 2 years,
That's
which
what I was
has
told.
lapsed, but
I was told 2 years also, but
We're
that
so
may not be an official number.
that,
Maybe they just told us that.
so
I wasn't told the number, but I do think that we should have a plan in place for us to sunset as individuals on, not that everyone leaves at once and then the next group have to reinvent the wheel, but that, you know, maybe over the next year, every 3 months or so, or however it is that we start transitioning out.
that's a really good comment, because where they're at right now is the jail trust, along with the district, as I understand it, the district attorney, the council who is advising the jail trust, is in the process of drafting policies and procedures for us, guidelines for the Citizens Advisory Board, including term limits and appointments and all the things. But I think that they would love to have the kind of input from us that you just offered, that we need to probably start now. All of us have been here for at least 2 years. And to, I mean, there's so many good people that could have this opportunity to serve, to keep it fresh and to prevent us from, burnout and whatever else. We probably need to honor those term limits, and in a way that doesn't completely erode the consistency or the work that we've been engaged in. So I would just state that if you have additional comments like that, feel free to email me and I can pass them along to Director Albaugh, who is the chair of the trust, and is receiving those, kind of taking the lead on this project, or you can email him directly. Please feel free to do that. But that's where they're at. So they have said to me multiple times that it is a priority for them to fill the appointments to our board, but they want to be able to do that after they have policies and procedures in place, so that they can not say, "Hey, serve for 2 years," and it turn into 5. So anyway, that's one. Yeah. That's one thing. And then the second thing that I would want to say, just in way of comments and general remarks, this coming weekend is Mother's Day, and that can be especially difficult for families that are separated, both for moms who may be detained and for their children who may not have their parent with them. One of the things that the Oklahoma County Detention Center is trying to do is help create connection to the community for everybody. And this past Saturday, care packages with notes of encouragement were delivered to everyone inside the Oklahoma County Detention Center. That was intentionally, that date was meant to coincide to as close to Mother's Day weekend without it being Mother's Day weekend as possible. And the reason it wasn't Mother's Day weekend is because they wanted to honor the opportunity for people in the community to get to be with their family on that day as well. But I appreciate the kind of awareness and maybe sensitivity to those kinds of issues, and proud that our community and the leadership at the Oklahoma County Detention Center recognize those kind of dynamics. I think that's really important as we talk about what we can do to improve conditions and quality of life and all the things. I think the connection to community and the fact that everyone would feel connected to their community is really, really important. And so just want to be able to shout that out. Okay. Seeing no additional comments or general remarks, I would ask if there's any new business that needs to be brought before our board. Seeing,
No new business, but perhaps just a reminder of our next meeting,
yes.
just to ensure that all will be able to be present. It looks like, actually, June the 12th,
June the,
as a reminder.
thank
Uh-huh.
you, Aaron. June the 12th, 11 a.m. will be our next official CAB meeting. And with that, I would be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn. There's a motion and a second. Sharon, would you call for the vote? Yes.
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 This meeting is adjourned.
Great job.